With WWE looking to open the forbidden door for the Men's Royal Rumble and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for January 10th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official, and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. While Liv Morgan has been rising in prominence thanks to her feud with Becky Lynch, former WWE referee Jimmy Corderas told Wrestling Inc. that he doesn't believe she's ready for that top spot. I thought she performed well against Becky. The match was good. I just don't think Liv, in my opinion, is ready for that spot just yet. Not from an in-ring standpoint. It's more from a character standpoint and working on her character and working on her ability on the microphone. I don't think she's quite there yet to be at that level to carry the women's division just yet. Following his main roster call-up, Austin Theory has been involved in segments with Mr. McMahon, as many think this is a sign of things to come for the young star. Talking about him on Busted Open Radio, Mark Henry noted that Theory has what it takes to be the face of the company. Austin Theory is doing something that very few wrestlers get to do, which is play Robin to Batman, which means playing Robin to Vince McMahon. Steve Austin did it, The Rock did it, Mankind did it, and you go down the list of talents that had serious interactions with Vince. Those storylines with Vince, who did they become? The face of the company, the guy. Austin Theory is on that trajectory right now. He is young and can be groomed, he listens, he wants to be great. Theory also realizes the position that he's in, and he is doing what he's told, and he'll be a star. Speaking about Austin Theory's segments with Vince McMahon, Jim Cornette noted on his podcast that the idea for Theory isn't working. I believe somehow Vince McMahon sees this as portraying to the fans that he has taken Austin Theory under his wing because he likes the ruthless aggression and or the attitude or whatever the other marketing slogans that the kid has. However, McMahon will be showing him tough love and bring it out in a forceful manner, force him to get to the top. This is just what Vince is telling himself and telling other people. As it's coming across, I genuinely believe that there is no one there that has the capability to tell Vince McMahon, well, that may be the idea, but in execution it's not coming across. So that's what I think is going on. With Samoa Joe being shockingly released from WWE once again, Jim Cornette would take a shot at the company for not finding a way to use Joe. He wrestled just fine, never wrestled again after his NXT title match against Karrion Kross, and now they fire him again. Joe couldn't have been a coach? This guy can't be a trainer? He has done commentary, he is well spoken, plus he could still go in the ring, because he just had a match with Karrion Kross, 6 months ago? He knows how to work with younger guys, and he's impeccable in the ring for his gimmick, but somehow the company can't find any way in WWE to utilize Samoa Joe. Meanwhile, Mandy Rose is a helicopter and Joe Gacy is a stooge. Cornette would then note that Joe would be a huge asset for AEW. Can you imagine Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs? Samoa Joe, if he is still motivated and does not have hate for the wrestling industry after what he has been through, he knows all the younger guys. Joe is simply a generation ahead of most talents in AEW. It was reported by Fightful days ago that Joe is getting a lot of interest from independent bookers, so we'll have to see what's next for him. Despite having a solid reign as WWE Champion before losing the title at Day 1, Big E might not always stay in WWE, at least according to Booker T. The 5-time WCW champ would note while speaking on Reality of Wrestling, I thought Big E had a good run, and I thought the championship made him better. It was almost one of those things where I always say that when you win the title, it makes you a better performer, normally, just because you know that you're the World Heavyweight Champion. You walk a different way, you feel a different way. I don't know what it is, but that effect definitely got a hold of Big E. and you can see him falling into that role as being the champion. He believed he should have been the champion. I thought he did a great job. We didn't get a chance to see Big E have a whole lot of classic matches as champion or anything like that, but I think that's where Big E has a chance to come back and capture it again and grow. I think Big E is going to be in this business for at least 5 to perhaps 8 to 10 more years, maybe, in this business. Not the WWE, but in the business. He has a chance to grow over this time and become the performer he wants to be. Now, with Big E reported to be the favorite to win the Royal Rumble, he could have a chance to regain his title at WrestleMania. While Roman Reigns as the Tribal Chief and Universal Champion is one of the greatest heels in modern WWE, he is still human. Recently, Reigns had to be pulled from the Day 1 pay-per-view due to COVID. Given his immunocompromised status, performing during a pandemic can be risky, as he cut a babyface promo when addressing fans during a house show. Here's the video.
Take this time. You guys, thank you for coming out. We all know what's going on globally with this pandemic. I just want y'all to keep thinking. I want y'all to get safe through. I want you to protect yourselves, and where we can see you next time. Awesome. Good night. Thank you.
With it looking like a feud between Seth Rollins and Reigns is brewing, we might see a title change take place soon. With her being off WWE programming since her Extreme Rules loss to Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss would undergo sinus surgery, as she seems ready to make a return. Bliss took to Twitter to let fans know that she would be coming back tonight for Monday Night Raw. In AEW, many are impressed with the young up-and-coming star Hook. The son of ECW legend Taz has made quite the name for himself during a short stint wrestling for the promotion. AEW President Tony Khan recently spoke about an interaction between his father and Hook, saying that Shad Khan was impressed when he met the young star. What a well-trained professional wrestler. Taz has done an amazing job on him, and he's had great training. He's at the Nightmare Factory. QT and Cody, when they were training together, have done really well on him. Since they split, Taz has taken over all of his training since that. Taz has done a phenomenal job, adding a mean streak to him. A few other professional wrestlers in the Northeast area have contributed. I really enjoyed working with Hook. He's a tremendous professional. He doesn't really talk to many people. I'm one of the very few people who's heard him talk, so he doesn't say much. What a wonderful person he is. Taz has really done something amazing. My dad marveled when he met Hook because, my dad took me to ECW when I was a kid. When I was 13, my dad was there in Philly with me, and my dad saw Taz. I was wearing a big orange Taz shirt the whole weekend. Well, not the whole weekend. I had a Darth Vader shirt on Friday, but the Saturday, I had an orange Taz shirt. I gotta tell you, my dad was so impressed with Taz. He said to Hook, your dad's a tough guy. Like, I was in this place, and that place was no joke. And he was like the king of that place. And like both Taz and Hook were so proud. With Hook defeating Aaron Solo last week for Rampage, it looks like he could be gearing up to face the premier athlete, Tony Nese. On Fight and Focus, Cody Rhodes talked about the variety of programming in AEW, mentioning that Dark is the most fun thing on the planet. We have to provide layers of content, and Tony has provided layers of content. You just named all the shows, and that's how you do it. Dark, for example, right now, Dark is the most fun thing on the planet. The Universal Studios soundstage that we're filming at, if you've not been to a Dark taping, I really encourage you to go to one. Not only do you get to see 2 sessions, sometimes you only see 1, but you meet a lot of people. I went out and made my rounds. I'm pretty sure that I met every single fan in the place, and I'm going to continue to do that if I'm wrestling or if I'm not, just because it's this really cool, unique studio show. You see a lot of the up-and-coming talent, and they're not hindered by the larger booking of big-time Dynamite, the hour length of Rampage, or the loaded aspect of a pay-per-view. They're really able to kind of grow on this kind of preserve and learn and figure stuff out because there is an audience, a particularly hardcore audience. Some of the most fun I've had in wrestling was this most recent Dark session, and I just sit there and behind the chair and pretend to do stuff. I'm just having a good time. I get to see Tony. Tony loves wrestling. If you ever get the chance to just sit by him and watch wrestling, you can learn a lot by just watching him watch it. But yeah, Dark's amazing. It gives some of the up-and-coming talent a chance to fly. Elevation's amazing in the sense that it's in front of our bigger crowds, but they're under some of the stress and duress of a live TV situation because it's that hour plus, right before we go on the air for Dynamite, and that develops a whole different set of skills for a wrestler that they need. I'm sure you've seen from covering the sport, not everyone's cut out for the big-time TV wrestling. Some of our favorites, they can't fathom the time, the red light and commercial breaks, all this crazy stuff that makes being a TV wrestler a special trait. That's why you sometimes see the same wrestlers dominating on TV, because they're able to do it. But I like the variety of content that we offer because I think it's best for our roster. With MJF naming the 4 pillars of AEW as himself, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara, CM Punk would tell him that he'd been replaced by Britt Baker as a pillar during one of his promos. On the In the Click podcast, Baker would know how important it was to hear this. I'm glad someone said it because I agree. I mean, you can't say AEW and the pillars without bringing up my name too. I've been here, you know? I'm the face of the women's division, and women's wrestling is just as important as men's wrestling. So to say that I'm not a pillar, I mean, you need an examination. How could you possibly argue that? Previously, Ringside News reported that WWE is open to bringing in talent signed to other promotions for the Women's Royal Rumble, as Mickie James, who is signed to Impact Wrestling, is set to make an appearance at the pay-per-view. Now it seems WWE is willing to do the same for the Men's Rumble, as WrestleVotes noted, and more than one source this weekend, without me directly asking, state they believe WWE will try for an unexpected Forbidden Door entrant for the Men's Royal Rumble. Personally, I'm skeptical it happens, but I can confirm WWE is at least open to the idea, which is exciting enough. With him being undefeated in AEW, Hook has a lot to celebrate, as it looks as though he did just that at a nightclub in New York City, with Macho Beard posting this video. With Chris Jericho and Dan Lambert going back and forth on the microphone, some fans were less than pleased as they took Jericho asking the American Top Team, who was on top during the September 15th Dynamite, as offensive. Given fans have accused both Lambert and Jericho of homophobia, Fightful would note that those backstage are not pleased. They say it to me. I don't know if they say it to Jericho, Lambert, or Tony Khan, but they say it to me. Like if I mention, hey, have you said anything to this person? They don't say anything back. So it's said to me, but I don't know if it's said out loud. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.